we're going to run you guys through this social media training. If you would like to go ahead and if you have any questions throughout the presentation, go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll try to address them as they come in. If we do not get to them right away, then we will definitely have a Q&A at the end of the presentation. Please stick around for that. With that in mind, here's the agenda of what we're going to be going over today. Introduction, social media overview, when to post, what to post, building your social network, some general tips and tricks, as well as some general resources, and then of course the Q&A at the end. So just to introduce you to LAVIDGE, we are a full service marketing and advertising agency. And we were founded in 1982. So we're coming up on being in the Valley of the Sun for almost 40 years now. We are a staff of 70 people strong. We have multiple facets of marketing and advertising. We do digital campaigns, we do creative campaigns, paid and earned. We do public relations, social media, etc. So it's a fun group of people to work with. Many of us have been here for a long, long time. I know that our creative director, Bob Case, he's been there for 20 plus years. Our director of public relations, Ann Robertson, she's been there for 15 years. So it definitely is like a family. And like I said, my name is Megan. I'm the Associate Director of Public Relations, and I did join LAVIDGE about 2 years ago. Prior to that, I had my own boutique PR firm while I was raising my kids. I have 2 kids. I have a daughter who just went off to Northern Arizona University, and I have a son, Jack Wall, who is in Troop 41, and he is a Life Scout, and he is going for his Eagle. My background is all public relations for the past 25 years. I graduated from Arizona State University. I did my internship in public relations and I just never. So I've been doing media relations and event planning and social media and public relations for nonprofits, corporations, startups, you name it. I've probably been in that business. And so happy to join LAVIDGE as we head into the next phase of our life, because obviously, as you know, college tuition is coming. So, and I will turn it over now to Alana, who is also going to be presenting today.
Hello, as Megan mentioned, my name is Alana Kuntz. You heard my cat meowing in the background just now, so I apologize for that. It's her dinner time. I have been at LAVIDGE for about 2.5 years now. I started off as an account coordinator, and I've now worked my way up to a senior account executive. I also graduated from Arizona State University from the Walter Cronkite School in 2018. So I went into an internship with Dignity Health right out of college, and then decided, you know, an unpaid internship isn't really good for me right now. I need to have a full-time career. So LAVIDGE was the perfect fit. And since then, I've been working with clients in a range of industries, from healthcare to nonprofit, education, architecture, business. So it's been really fun, and I'm excited to share some insight with you guys on how to best manage your social media accounts today. And I will pass it over to our newest member of the team, Emma.
Hi guys, my name is Emma. Like Alana said, I am the newest member of LAVIDGE. I joined about 6 months ago, but I was previously an intern with LAVIDGE when I was studying communications up at Northern Arizona University. And I liked it so much that I decided to come back to the Valley and work for LAVIDGE. And so far, I've been able to join on a lot of our accounts. Like Megan and Alana had said, we do a lot of business, a lot of finance and architecture and health and a little bit of everything. And honestly, the Boy Scouts is definitely my favorite account. It is so much fun. And I was lucky to be at the Leadership Summit a few months ago, I guess now. So it's been really fun working with you guys so far, and I'm excited to share a little bit about social media with you guys to help your troops individually succeed.
And just so you guys are aware, on each of our presentation pages, There is our phone number and our email. If you need to reach out to us afterward directly, you're welcome to do that, or you can always reach out to Andy or Amanda at GCC, and they can direct you to the right person at LAVIDGE. Okay, so we're going to social media overview. And the 3 platforms we're going to be focused on today are Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, which are really the top 3 that are really taking over the social media today. So Facebook, basically Facebook is king. It's still king of all of the social media platforms. And according to Hootsuite, Facebook is the most popular social network in low-income households. In the US, African American and Hispanics are the most popular multicultural affinities. And Facebook is the most popular social network in rural areas. And the reach is largest between users age 13 to 17. So when it comes to Facebook, we always recommend visuals. So a post should always include photos or a video or a link to a certain topic or story that you are referencing. For business to consumer brands, the best time to post on Facebook are generally between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. during the weekdays. And obviously that's pretty clear that people are on their social channels during their lunch breaks. Facebook stories is something that is recently new to Facebook. And I'm sure if you guys have a Facebook page or a Facebook account, you're aware that the stories are little snippets of videos, very visually based. And they are a good tool to drive your followers to your posts or to tease a media placement or give attention to an awareness day. Anything that you want to highlight, it's a good idea to put it in the Facebook stories. And if you're familiar, Instagram and Facebook do work in tandem. And so if you want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, you could post something on Instagram, either in the stories or just a general post, and you can link it to your Facebook account, as long as those 2 profiles are linked together. And then this is something that we really wanted to point out. It's a very easy marketing tool, and it's a very inexpensive marketing tool if you're wanting to reach more people than just an organic post. Boosted posts, you put a little bit of money behind it, and you can really hone in and target your audience and who you're trying to reach. So male, female, age brackets, geographic locations, right down to a zip code. So putting a little bit of money, and when I say a little bit of money behind a post, even like $5 to $20 will get you in front of more people than an original organic post. So it's always an idea to mind when you might have a really popular post or you're wanting to get more people to attend an event, to put a little bit of money behind it. Next up, Instagram.
So a little different from Facebook, Instagram really is visually based. All the posts have to be either a photo or a video. And like Facebook, you can share between platforms. So if you post something on Facebook, that can be shared to Instagram. And if you post something to Instagram, that can be shared to Facebook, as long as your accounts are linked. But to start off, we have some additional interesting facts from Hootsuite. Instagram is also very, very popular. It's the 6th most visited website throughout the world. And even though most people use it on their phones, it still cracks the top 10 for website visits. So it is still being used on the desktop. So that is a good thing, because it means that your posts can take up more space and will be able to look good, both on the web page as well as really accessible on your phone. Instagram users spent an average of 30 minutes per day on the platform in 2020. That might be because we all had a little bit more time at home, but that time we spend on Instagram isn't going down anytime soon. So it's really a great opportunity to keep getting your images and your messages out there. And like Facebook, Instagram stories is really, really popular. 500 million people use Instagram stories every day. I was just talking with Megan and Emma today and said, sometimes I just go on Instagram and click through the stories and I don't even scroll through my feed because it's not as fun. The stories are about 15 seconds. So it's really a short snippet of information that doesn't let you get bored. And then another interesting fact is that 5% of children in the United States under 12 use Instagram. So depending on what age group your troop is, Instagram can still be a really effective tool. So I kind of started to hit on the fact that Instagram has stories as well as feed posts. So if you don't know the difference between these, what you post in your feed are videos or photos that are shared by and then saved on your profile. Stories are vertical photos or videos up to 15 seconds that disappear after 24 hours of posting. But then there are also two other components, Instagram TV and Instagram Live. Instagram TV is a separate post that allows you to share longer videos compared to the ones that you would normally post directly on your feed, which can only be about 60 seconds long. An Instagram TV post can be, I don't even know if there is a limit, 5, 10, 20 minutes. It can really be whatever length you want. And then that video is saved on your feed under another little tab that has a cute little TV logo. So you can still reshare that content. And then Instagram Live, I'm sure you're familiar with Facebook Live. It's basically the same thing. It's a live user broadcast that's really great for connecting directly with followers, and also can be shared again to repurpose your content on your Instagram feed. After you're done broadcasting on Instagram Live, there's a little button that has the option to share as an Instagram TV video. So again, that content is able to be repurposed on your actual feed. And the great thing about all these components is that you have so many different avenues to keep your followers interested. And when you use all of these components, it creates the most robust and engaging profile. The only difficulty is really figuring out when and how frequently to post these different tactics. So for actual posts in your feed, that's going to be what you see most commonly, and we recommend about 2 to 3 times a week during the weekdays between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. And stories, if you can swing it, it's a great daily thing. Like we just reported on, over 500 million people view stories every day. And these stay on for 24 hours, so really sharing any time between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. will be great. And then IGTV and IG Live, those take a little bit more time. So weekly or bi-weekly, even if you can do it monthly, would be great for your added content. And those usually will want to take place after 3 p.m. in the evening, when you can actually connect with your followers and hopefully get some people to tune into your broadcast. So you will get this PowerPoint a little bit later on for your own reference, but this chart will be really helpful to inform you when to post on Instagram weekly, daily, bi-weekly as noted.
Perfect. So moving along, the third social media platform that we're talking about is Twitter. Twitter has been around for a long time. It's kind of like Facebook's brother. It's been around for a very long time. And even though a lot of people are using Facebook and Instagram for some of those visual things, Twitter is still super relevant. So if you have a Twitter account, definitely use it. As always, try to include photos, videos, or links in your post because it will grab attention. However, Twitter is not one that necessarily needs it in every single post. Instagram and Facebook are much more visual social medias. So if you can include a photo, if not, that's okay. Everyone knows tweets, you only get, I think, 150 characters. So these are going to be short, sweet little blurbs about what's going on in your troop. Another thing that's really neat about Twitter is you can do polls, and the polls are super user friendly. You can put them together in just a few short minutes. And it's a really good way to gauge your followers on if you are having an event, seeing what they want to do, or seeing if how many people are joining a meeting or whatever that looks like. You can put this on and then really get some info on your followers. Tweeting usually starts at the beginning of the day. So users usually hop on in the morning. So that's the best way to start your accounts is first thing in the morning. And then so what to post. Oh, wait, Elena, you want to take this one? Sorry.
Go ahead, Megan.
Okay. So I know that a lot of you are using your pages to help promote your troop and everything that you're doing, from camping to hosting weekly meetings and things like that. So we just thought we'd share a little bit of our ideas of what we think that your audience would like to see posted. So obviously you want to take as many photos and videos organically as possible. Try to limit the usage of any stock photography or images. They obviously just look a little bit canned and posed and not authentic. So we want to see people and kids that are authentic and unique to your troop. And some suggestions below that we brainstormed and put together for this PowerPoint are troop pictures. And obviously the scouts that are participating in multiple activities, possibly some merit badges that were recently earned, or any kind of like merit badge seminars that you've had, videos of campsites, hiking trips, any kind of travel trips, and then of course videos of scouts participating in any kind of activities like merit badge participation and anything to that effect. And then of course links. Any links you can include to either Grand Canyon Council or fundraising event page or sales activity or anything online. Links are always a good option to include.
So one of the most important things that we want to give you today are some tools to use to build your following. Obviously, we want to increase your engagement and interaction on social media, and part of that is just growing your audience. So one way we want to start getting you to do this is to really build your own online community. And that starts by following people who share a similar interest or purpose. So you can see some of the suggested accounts we've listed here are neighboring troops, the Grand Canyon Council, Boy Scout of America national accounts, experts of outdoors activities and influencers in that space. Or if there's a really particular person in the media that you want to interact with, or you really want to get on Arizona's family, then follow those accounts and interact with their posts. Interacting with their posts regularly, and even consider sharing their posts if it pertains to who's following your account, can be really successful in starting to build a relationship with those people. And then we also encourage you to comment where your knowledge is applicable. When you're following an outdoor expert and they're talking about some new tools that they use to go hiking, or a specific backpack that they're really trying out and loving, if you know that your boys really like that specific hiking stick or that backpack, then you can comment on that post and say, hey, that's so cool, thank you for sharing this. Our kids in troop 1, 2, 3 really like your content, or just did this hike the other day. Wherever you can kind of share your own story and your own expertise on other people's posts is really going to start building a conversation with them, and then build that connection so you have a wider audience. So after you've maintained a regular posting schedule, we really encourage that you experiment with content and posting times, so you can see when followers or what followers are most likely to interact with. So this might look like alternating between using questions and statistics in your copy, what you're actually writing on social media, or even adding emojis to see if it increases interaction. We've included over here on the other side of the slide the top 5 emojis according to a recent report. So you'll see the loudly crying face, face with tears of joy, pleading face, smiling face with hearts, purple hearts. They're all very positive sentiments that we see for millennials, Gen Z, and Gen X. So incorporating some of those emojis and see which ones might increase interaction. And then even posting more frequently or posting less frequently to see which posts actually get more likes or comments or are shared more. And then testing different amounts of hashtags to see if it affects the number of impressions. We'll go into hashtags right after this, but they are something people can follow. If someone tweets hashtag Boy Scouts, you can click on that hashtag and see all the people that tweeted about Boy Scouts in the last years. That content never goes away. So that's just another way to get an increased number of impressions. And then also spend time replying to posts, replying to your followers' comments on your posts, and see if that increases your follower count.
Okay, so let's talk about hashtags. Hashtags are a tool that can be used across all 3 of these social media platforms. And what they do is if you post a photo or a post on any of the social media platforms and you hashtag, say, like Alana said, Boy Scouts, every photo or every post that has ever hashtagged Boy Scouts go into one group together. So if I were to search for Boy Scouts, it brings up every person's photo who has ever shown that. It's a really good way to increase engagement with people who are not necessarily following you. So it really helps you reach new followers and kind of incorporate sort of that popular, new, relevant things that people are talking about sort of in the media. So to the side, you can see we have some ideas for you guys. So these are sort of day of the week hashtags. So if you want, you can take any of these and every Monday or every Thursday, every Wednesday, whatever, post something and then use that hashtag sort of to keep consistency. Or something you guys can do for every individual troop, you can have a troop hashtag. So if a parent posts a photo of their kid in their uniform, they can hashtag it and it'll kind of go with anyone else in the troop's photo. So it'll be a really nice way to compile your specific photos. Or you can hashtag the Grand Canyon Council for your events and have them all go to one place. So it's a really good way of keeping your imagery and your posts together. And it's a good way for if people are curious about the Grand Canyon Council, if they look up that hashtag and see thousands of posts of smiling people and happy families, it looks really good on you guys too. So brainstorm some hashtags and just make sure that anyone who is using those platforms use the same ones, because the more you build, the better it'll be received from other people.
So using all of this information we've kind of spouted off to you guys, we came up with some examples of good posts, what using these tactics might look like on Instagram or Facebook and Twitter as well. So I'll just read through these and point out a few of the tactics that we use. So the first one here, a great picture of Camp Geronimo. Beautiful views this morning at Camp Geronimo. Hashtag Troop 123 is wrapping up our last day at summer camp and we have had a blast. This week, our troop earned 10 new merit badges. Which badge do you think our scouts earned the most? So in this post, not only are you hashtagging your troop, and as Emma just mentioned, that's a really great tool, but you're also asking a question to try to encourage your followers to interact with that post and respond to you. And also this imagery is not a stock photo. We took this from the Grand Canyon Council. So this was an own snapshot, something that they own. So that's just great imagery to share. The second one, today we started our hike on the Humphreys Peak Trail. Our backpacking trip will last 3 days as we explore the Flagstaff Wilderness and learn all about respecting our natural ecosystem. Turn on our post notifications to stay up to date on what we learn. Hashtag weekend exploration, hashtag troop123. So again, hashtagging your troop, but then also encouraging your followers to take an action on your post again. So on this one, you're encouraging them to actually turn on your notifications for whenever you post something on your page. And when they get a notification, they're more likely to click on it and more likely to interact with it. It'll also bring your content to the top of their feed just naturally and organically. And then the last one, this includes a weekday hashtag. So hashtag Throwback Thursday to @Brian, manning the lifeguard station as the Webelos from Troop 567 earned their first responder merit badges. Brian did a great job encouraging the younger kids while keeping an eye out for their safety. So again, that weekday hashtag, but you're also specifically adding one of the boys in your troop. So this will show up on their phone as a notification and they'll interact with it, and then they'll be more likely to share it to their wider network as well. And then you're also including an @ to another troop, and that does the same thing, gives them a notification and encourages them to share it to their wider network.
So just some general tips for you guys moving forward. And like Elena said, you guys will have all of this. So you're always welcome to re-reference this, but here are just some general tips moving forward to help you guys with your interaction on social media. So on Instagram, post hashtags in the comment section instead of the caption. On Instagram, if your caption is too long, it'll actually cut it off and you have to click little dots to bring it up. So if you do it in the comment section, it'll come up on its own thing. People are more likely to see it, click on it. For Twitter, you're only going to want to use a couple hashtags at a time. So maybe hashtag your troop, hashtag one of those weekday hashtags, and leave it at that. Tag other accounts in the post, like Alana said, it will pop up on their feed, it'll pop up on their notifications, and they'll be more likely to engage with it. They'll repost it on their story, repost it on their feed, commented on it, like on it. It just always helps anybody else interact with that and then potentially share it with their network of people as well. So this could be other camps, organizations, other troops, and individual people, whatever. If you want to shout out a specific person and say, thanks parent of this kid for bringing cookies to our last meeting, go ahead and thank them on social media because they'll feel appreciated, and then also share it with their friends. And who doesn't love that? Always respond and like the positive comments on your post and wall. If you interact with comments, it will help other people say, oh, they're actually observing this. They're actually taking time to comment back and like these things. So I will comment on it. A lot of people think that organizations don't necessarily interact with them if they take the time to interact with the post. So definitely make sure that you're responding to the people who are taking time out of their day to talk to you on that social media platform. You're going to want to ignore spam and delete if possible. So if people are commenting things like, you'll see a lot of people saying like, hey, I think you're really cool. Do you want to work with us? And it's just some sort of like pyramid scheme. You probably don't want that. So you could definitely delete those if somebody is doing like a negative review that requires a calm and considerate response or no response at all. If it's really terrible, feel free to delete that as well. You don't want profanity on your page. So, and then also with these type of social medias, there are guidelines. So oftentimes if anything is bad, the actual social media will step in and remove stuff like that as well. Controversial reposts may require an internal strategic crisis response drafted by a lawyer or a PR agency like this. If you ever have anything really kind of terrible or anything that you don't know how to handle, please reach out to us. We are always happy to help draft a response or talk it through with you, whatever that looks like for you. And we can do this for all the troops. And then draft standard reply document, which you can refer to, especially if several people are managing an account. This is always really good to have, just so all of your comments stay consistent. So definitely draft that, have a discussion internally about it, and then create sort of your standard replies, good or bad, whatever that looks like for your specific accounts.
So this portion may be a little bit of a luxury item for some of you, but it is a very helpful option. Basically, some of the resources that can help you with your social media posts and management, and then of course, any kind of analytics that you may be looking for. These allow you to schedule your posts ahead of time and then obviously tweak each platform post, so they're not like cookie cutter, so they're not copy paste. Let's say you wanted to post one thing on Facebook and then you want to tweak it a little bit and post something else on Instagram, and then you want to tweak that even more and post that on Twitter. So these resources are really, really good tools, and I believe they're but like a monthly fee. So, and I don't think they're that expensive. Some of them are a little bit more expensive than others, but it might be worth looking into if you're definitely wanting more of a proactive approach to your social media posts. So Buffer, Hootsuite, and Sprout Social are some of the top online social media managing platforms. And these sites typically have a free profile option, but they may limit the amount of social media sites that you can connect to. So again, consider a monthly membership to gain that increased access for measurement and analysis and helpful tools and being able to schedule ahead of time. And then a membership to one of these scheduling platforms isn't necessary, but again, it's an option to consider if you guys have a little bit of extra money in your Troops account. It really, really can be a lifesaver. And then of course, Follower Wonk is something that is out there, and it sorts through all of your Twitter data. And so this tool can track your follower gains and losses and compare Twitter accounts and determine the content that's most engaging, so that as you move forward, it can help you figure out, you know, what's working and what's not. So these are just a few of the many, many resources out there that are available for social media. And with that, that is our presentation. And I see that a lot of comments and questions have been posted in the chat. So go ahead and address those right now. Our team can address those right now. And Alana and Emma, please feel free to jump in. And then after that, if you guys have any additional questions, we'll go ahead and field those as well. So the first one looks like it says, what permission from parents does a unit need to put scouting pictures, videos online? Andy, you can jump in as well, but I believe that you probably do need permission from every single child in order to post any pictures of them, specifically their face, you know, on the social media platforms, because they are minors.
Yeah, there's a little bit lower in there. We've linked to there's a talent release form that BSA has, and then as Chuck points out, there's also the Part A of the annual Scout Health form includes permission and a talent release. So we've got the ability to do that through those two forms.
And it may just be something that you guys do at the beginning of every, you know, season, where you just have the kids fill it out and you keep it on file all year, and then you do it again the following year. So to maybe just renew it annually. That's usually what we do on our end. And then Emily says, do you have any concerns about posting pics of kids? And I don't think there's any concern. You just have to be really tasteful, obviously, with what pictures you're posting. And as long as their parents have approved that they can be on social, then I think that that's going to be the majority of your posts, right? Because that's what Scouts is all about. It's about the kids participating in their activities.
I think it's also good to note that you can change your privacy settings on all of these accounts. So, you know, you can make your individual troop page private, as well as Instagram and Twitter, make those private as well. So you get follower requests, and then you can decide who is actually going to see your content. Even if you still want to interact with influencers or people who don't follow you, they'll still get those responses from you, and you don't really have to worry about that end of the privacy, like mitigating your efforts to build an online community or increase engagement. So you can definitely fiddle with the privacy settings on each account.
The next question is from Rich, and this is a really good question. Should posts come from personal accounts, unit accounts? Does the type of account matter? I would say it absolutely matters, because you should try not to set it up through your personal account. You should try to set it up as its own account. You know, as your kids get older and they grow and hands change, you know, it's probably just going to be easier to hand off an account, if business account, and you share that password with the person that's then taking over, you know, after you're finished with the account. So Alana or Emma, do you have any additional ideas for this one?
I absolutely agree with Megan. That's going to really help moving forward for any type of like PTSO or student council or anything that I've ever been a part of. That's the way that we do it. And it's really helpful because, like Megan says, you guys are always changing different positions, and whoever is managing social media might step away. So you're going to want that. But if you ever do post from your personal account about the Scouts, just make sure that you interact with the troop page, so you're staying connected with that. So definitely have a troop page, but if you want to post something about your child being in the Scouts, you can hashtag, you can tag them, or you can do that @ and mention them in the comments. You can always be interacting with that page, which will be helpful on personal accounts.
Emma, my understanding is that Facebook events and then advertising and geofencing and all that kind of stuff has to be done from organizational pages as opposed to personal. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. That is correct. And then it'll help if anyone wants to say you're doing a virtual event. If it's coming from an organizational page, it's really easy for people to sign up for it that way as well. So highly recommend that.
Yeah. So a pack or a troop that's doing maybe an open house or some kind of an activity where they're inviting the general community to come learn about scouting and maybe join up for their troop or pack would definitely want to do it from their organizational social media pages. And that would also allow them to throw a few dollars here and there to do some advertising where you can geofence and really focus in on those people that are most likely to join to ensure that they see the advertising and are more likely to attend.
Exactly. Yep.
And with boosted posts, you can really only do that from a business account, which would be that troop account as well.
Okay, Doreen says, how much time would you expect a volunteer to put into doing this? I'm asking at a unit level, this sounds like a daily job. I know, Doreen, for Troop 41, which my son is in, they have actually, because they're, you know, the Scouts are a little bit older in that troop. So they have a scout actually managing it as part of earning a badge and getting the experience, the marketing experience. So I would say you put as little or as much time into it as you can. Obviously, the more time and effort you put into it, the more results you're going to get. But, you know, let's be realistic. This is just one of, you know, the many things that kids and parents have to do these days. So I would say, you know, at least posting once or twice a week at the minimum. And if you know, and then there's days obviously when you're having a meeting and you wanted to post several times during one day. So it's really just based on your time, you know, your time you have and what your bandwidth is as far as scheduling, and same thing with your child's. We don't really have, like, there's not a specific formula, but I know that posting during those times and on those days that we've mentioned earlier are also always the best times to post.
Well, and I'm with a Cub Scout unit, so we wouldn't have the kids posting in that case.
Yeah, so that would be you. So I would say, you know, if you can post maybe 3 times a week, that would probably be a good place to start.
You can always make an announcement to parents and say, hey, if you have any post ideas, send them my way, and parents can caption and send you photos. So then it takes a little bit of the individual responsibility, and then all one person has to do is just actually post the content, but you don't have to create the content. So that could be helpful of encouraging other members of the troop to get involved with it and have a hand in it, and they'll feel involved too.
One of the best
And-
methods that we've been sharing with PAC leaders in the last year is through the concept of a back-to-PAC program. And in preparation for that back-to-PAC event, one of the things we encourage PAC committees to do is brainstorm out what are all the different roles that the PAC needs. Things like den leader, cub master, committee chairman, but also social media could be a great thing for somebody to offer to do. And then through that back-to-PAC program, you provide jobs, roles that every parent can volunteer, a place that's a good place for them to plug in, and it spreads the work out so that no one has to lift too much to help the PAC out. So the social media would be a great thing to put down as one of the leadership roles for one of the parents in a PAC or troop.
I did want to bring up again that Facebook and Instagram, since Facebook does own Instagram now, you can post content between platforms really, really easily. So although the recommendation would be to change up your content a little bit for each social media site, you can just post once and say share to Instagram, or vice versa, share to Facebook, and then you've done it once, but it's been shared on 2 social sites. So you're increasing your engagement that way and posting regularly that way.
And Doreen says it sounds a little bit higher level and that it seems pretty involved. But again, I think it's just how involved you want to be. It can be very simple and it can be very straightforward, or it can be really involved. I think on the level, of Cub Scouts, obviously, it doesn't need to be too detail oriented or too involved. And of course, you don't even need to look into that platform of, that paid platform of posting at that level, or pretty much manage it one by one. And then Rich says, I'm concerned about privacy. Is it an option to create an account expressly for the purpose of promoting scouting? And I think we already answered that. Yes, you can, and you should. Definitely create an organization page. And then Paul says, can you just start a hashtag, or are they registered?
Hashtag your heart out.
To my knowledge, hashtags are not trademarked or registered. They are just a way of identifying certain things. So as of now, not yet. Now, lawyers may find a way one of these days, but as far as we know, they're not registered. So you can use whatever you want. Sandy says, should Facebook unit sites be a page or a group?
I think you'll definitely want your Facebook unit site to be a page. If it's a group, you have to actually ask permission to join that group and to see the posts. So if it is for outward reach and to get more people involved, a page is going to be the best. If you do want a Facebook group though, for like Scout parents, definitely can do that in addition too. Those are super easy to make and manage.
Groups are a great way to interact internally and share updates, whether it be about a camping trip or your next meeting or your fundraising event that you have coming up. But as Emma said, pages are really great for sharing that content externally.
And I think that we didn't talk about this, but polls are another great form of kind of engaging people. If you ever want to take a poll about something like, where should our next camping trip be? Or, how do you feel about this fundraiser versus that fundraiser? Polls are always a really good way to get engagement and get feedback on certain questions and topics. And then Sandy says, can you add files on a page or only a group? And I believe you can add files both on a page and a group.
Yeah, when you set up the page, there is a slew of templates for you to choose from, and files should be included that you can upload to as well.
Okay, I don't see any more questions typed. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask away.
Is this film going to be available, and when, and how do you get it?
Yes, Andy was recording this session and it will be available for people that were unable to attend today.
How soon?
Sam, we got to figure out where we're going to host it. So I'm not sure if sometime next week, next week at the earliest, we got to figure out where we're going to put it.
Okay, you're going to run it again like we're doing now. as
It'll be
opposed-
available. It'll be available online for anybody on demand.
Okay, thanks. I've got a couple of people I want to be sure and see this.
Yeah.
Where do we go for help and how to do some of this stuff? So like we have a group, but we don't have a page. So you're saying use a page and attach it to a group or something, and creating these Instagram accounts and stuff. Some of us old timers don't know how to do a lot of this stuff.
You're certainly welcome to reach out to the LAVIDGE team, and we had at the beginning when we did our introductions, our phone numbers and our emails are below. So if you want to reach out to us directly, you can, and we can share, any kind of resources that we can with you on how to set up accounts.
Paul, additionally, Taryn can be, you can reach out to Taryn, our marketing assistant. And we've got some really savvy scout leaders already that are on the AZ Boy Scout and the AZ Scouter Facebook pages that you could probably reach out through there additionally. So we've got several resources available.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm as square as they come with this stuff, but how do you decide or look for or whatever followers and influencers, and especially influencers? Like, what would you look for that?
Well, one of the ways is to follow a particular hashtag. So if you're looking for, an influencer or somebody who's really popular in exploring the outdoors, you can look at that hashtag and then see which posts, which people are frequently using it, and also getting a lot of interaction. And also you can just Google. That's another great way to get a lot of good information is say, type in on Google, who are the top 10 influencers in camping on Instagram, or hiking on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, whatever account you're looking to search for those influencers on, you can just put that in Google and it will pull up accounts for you. People are always talking about who's influencing what space.
Any
Any
other
other-
questions? Any other questions that folks have while we've got these experts on the Zoom?
Okay, so I'll just ask, what would an influencer do to get more Cub Scouts in my local unit?
Well, I think the thing about following influencers, it's more for your own knowledge or building that online community. The more you interact with people in your space, the more likely you are to, not only gain knowledge about what to post on Instagram, but also you'll find people like you who are wanting to share their own stories. Maybe it's like a scout troop in Colorado that also is following this influencer and commenting on their posts. And now you've made a new connection with somebody who will, interact with your stuff. And then those interactions and that engagement on your social media page will just make you more visible to new members or people that you want in Arizona to actually join that Cub Scout troop. Obviously, since your unit is a little younger, you're more looking at the parents on social media. So, those posts would be targeted to adults rather than kids. So I hope that helps a little bit. I don't know if Emma or Megan has any other thoughts on that, but.
Yeah, and one thing you can do, not necessarily on the influencer front, but if the goal is to sort of share with the community or get people involved with your troop, Post as often as you can, obviously. And then one of the things that I would recommend is joining community Facebook pages as well. So tons of different communities have Facebook pages, and all you have to do is like search, like I live in Peoria, so I'm a part of a Peoria community page. And then you can post on there either as an individual or as your organization. Say, hey, Cub Scout Troop 123 is accepting new members. If you're interested, reach out to me directly and I can give you some more information, or click this link, or come in person to our new meeting. That's a really good way of not having to work too hard, but getting your name in front of a lot of people.
And influencers in this space can also just be people on those community pages that get a lot of likes, that people value what they're saying. So just interacting with those people gives you your own like authority. So when you think of influencer, it doesn't have to be like those outdoor experts that have tens of thousands of followers. It can be somebody in your community that people just really value their opinion and trust them.
I would add to what the ladies have said, that scouting is super local. The Cub Scout Pack 1, it's right around that area. Scout Troop 10, it's right around that area. And each one of you are influencers, whether you're on social media or not. You may not be a social media influencer, depending on your usage, but each of you on here tonight, everyone involved in scouting is an influential person in the community, a leader. And we can harness that through effective use of social media, through the local community, through the local neighborhoods, to grow scouting and get more people involved in scouting. And so when we look to influencers, I think we want to look to ourselves and the other leaders in our packs, our troops, our crews, the parents, and find those people and harness the influence that we have already internally for the benefit of getting more families involved in scouting. Any other questions? Good discussion this afternoon. Thanks everybody for jumping on. As we mentioned a few minutes ago and at the beginning, we're going to keep this. We're going to record it. We'll probably edit it up a little bit, clean it up just a little bit, and save it for posterity, and make it available for those who couldn't join for the live version. But thank you for what you do. Thanks for giving about an hour of your afternoon this afternoon for the betterment of the pack, the troop that you work with. And thank you, our LAVIDGE experts, Emma, Megan, Alana. Thank you very much. I think everyone learned a lot. And unless there's any last minute questions, we'll call it adjourned.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Andy.
everyone.
Thank you. Have a great evening.